Once again, please raise your hand to ask a question. I'll pass the mic around, but Coach will just start with some opening comments from you on a tough game, and then we'll open it up to questions for the coaches and players. But, Coach, your thoughts on a good win but tough victory over Cal Poly?
Yeah. I think we're getting back to where we need to be when we talk about a 39-7 conference win not being quite what we want. I am really pleased that we're 3-0, and for the first time, and I don't know, Tabes, what is that, about 8 years, I think. Cal Poly came, they were ready to play. We were ready to play. I thought it was hard fought. There are all kinds of different ways to win games, and I think good teams find a variety of ways to win games. Sometimes it's the offense that carries it. Sometimes it's the defense that carries it. Sometimes it's the special teams units that carry the day. And all the great teams that I've been around have that in common, that they find ways to win, maybe when they don't play their best game. And I don't want to take anything away from Cal Poly because I thought they were ready to play and did a nice job. But we were ready to play, but we did not play sharp enough today. And we need to improve upon today's performance moving forward.
Plenty to improve on, to be sure, but you did the math for us last week, 115 minutes without a score. You got it up to almost 165 minutes. So just your reaction to that, this day in college football, that seems pretty unprecedented.
Well, that's the way I would say it, but I'll say it for you, so it doesn't have to be a quote from you. It can be a quote from me. But, we didn't want to lose that shutout there in the fourth quarter. But in current time, modern-day college football, that's a lot of quarters, a lot of drives, and a lot of minutes without a defense giving up a point. I mean, that's phenomenal. I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to do a study on that. Certainly it's not the time of year for me to look at that. Maybe, I don't know what you guys do all day. Maybe you can look at that. But that in modern-day college football, in the current time, with the rules where they are, where tackling's illegal and all the other stuff, it's phenomenal, those number of minutes.
Coach, first few offensive series, it seemed like Cam and the unit as a whole were kind of getting in the rhythm and then kind of settled into things as the first half went on. What do you feel like were the biggest adjustments, and how do you feel like they kind of adjusted to the game as it went?
Cal Poly didn't really give us anything new, so there shouldn't have been a whole lot of adjusting to be done. I just didn't think we were sharp, and I didn't think we executed well enough, and I wouldn't point to any individual certainly on that. I might, point at the head coach and say, I got to figure out why we weren't sharper the first little bit in there. So we just need to play better.
Building this great resume of shutting out opponents, I know you're physically doing it, but how much of this is mental with the mindset of the defense?
I think football is played by tough people, and you have to be both mentally and physically tough to be successful in the game, and I think we have a tough football team.
Just for Justin, just being a part of this defense that has allowed, that went 165 minutes without allowing points. What was that like, and what was clicking for you guys through 3 games now to start this season?
We were just playing the football our coaches teach us to play every day in practice. It was disappointing that fourth quarter when they scored, for sure. We were all disappointed. But we're just going to buckle down and get ready for next week.
And on that pick 6 play, you dropping back in coverage, you guys sending some other guys. What were you seeing on that play? What worked? And, what was that feeling like? Obviously, you guys taking the momentum just full bore at that point.
It was a great call by Coach Bear. It was a cool feeling. I don't know how to describe it. I haven't scored in college football before, so it was nice to get a score like that. You really have to experience it to know the feeling.
Sammy, they were bringing pressure early, but the touchdown, Cam took a hit, threw it right to you. What'd you see on that play? And you must have known when the pressure was coming, you're going to have daylight to run to.
I knew they were playing man, and I remember I kind of pointed it out before the play that they were playing man. I knew he was going to go with soul, so I knew I had to win and just had to execute.
Scoring a touchdown right there in front of the south end zone, got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It does feel good scoring in front of the north end zone.
Coach, conventional wisdom is that when you bring the kind of pressure you guys do, that leaves some sort of vulnerability of the defense. You guys don't seem to have any. Even when Cal Poly was dialing up screen plays, blowing them up, getting them to a 6-yard gain or whatever. Why? How are you guys able to do this, not really have much vulnerability when you bring pressure?
Yeah, actually I didn't think we played that well enough. They gave us a little more and a couple different looks in the screen game, which there are better ways to play it probably than we did. I thought that our effort level probably carried us through some calls that weren't maybe good for the defense, and our effort level and our chase of the football got us out of some potential bad plays. So, our guys, they challenge. They get challenged, as Belky said. They get challenged every day during the week, and then they go challenge the guys in the other color jersey on Saturdays.
This is for either one of the players. As Coach said, this is the best start you've had on the season in a while. First Big Sky Conference win and a homecoming win. So just how does that feel?
You've been here long. You got it. It feels good. It feels good to start the season 3-0 and get a win after an open date. It just feels good, but it also feels good to know that there's things we got to work on and get in there and prepare for the next one.
Coach, if there was one phase today that maybe was most impressive, it's special teams, scoring one on a kickoff return, punt block, and also one of the better punting displays I've seen in a long time. I know that that's a big deal to you, that phase of the game, and can you just speak to how important that was for the win today?
Yeah, the kicking game kind of carried the day for us. It was really good. It's unfortunate we gave up the fake punt. It was something that we actually practiced the play that they ran this week, believe it or not. So beyond that, it was a pretty dominating day, and the coverage teams were terrific. The return game was terrific. Scoring twice was huge in terms of the outcome of the game. Both those plays, the block punt and the kick return for the touchdown, we felt like those were opportunities that might transpire if the game played out the way we thought it would, and it's kind of nice once in a while to have the crystal ball.
And then when you have a punter that can flip the field the way that Brian can, does that ever translate into how you will call a game or your coaches will call a game either direction?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. There's so many things that go into it. It's not necessarily going to change our play call on either offense or defense, but it may change, if we're going for it or some different things when, it's a tight game. In a game like that where it's not real tight, you probably not, but, you get into a low-scoring battle, you're going to play the field position game a little bit, and it's sure nice to have a punter and a punt coverage unit that can flip the field for you.
This is for anyone. So you've talked before about the role of the crowd and specifically the student section and hyping up the team. So how do you think this large homecoming crowd influenced your gameplay? How did it influence the atmosphere on the sideline?
For defense, it was every third down. It was nice hearing the crowd get into it. I know it definitely caused trouble with the O-line getting off the ball, and the quarterback was probably a little frazzled or whatever. But I really enjoy having that student section full and hearing them yell and scream on third downs.
Sammy, Coach kind of alluded to it, but what does it say about this team when you can win with that large of a margin but still not really be satisfied with how you played?
I think it's a good sign. I think it means we're headed in the right direction. But I think it just speaks to the guys we got in the locker room, Where, I mean, it comes from coach, and he's going to be on us, but it doesn't really have to come from him. We know firsthand what we got to do and what our standard is, and we didn't rise up to that.
Justin, like Coach said, I mean, they were playing a lot of screen game on offense. How does that affect you as a defensive lineman, knowing that you have to keep your motor going, might have to turn around and chase the play when they throw it behind you just all game?
Well, it definitely tires you out more, but since we have so many good players on the defensive line, it's knowing that you have 2 or 3 deep that can do the job just as well as you can is it's very very satisfying, very good to know.
Thanks, Tapes.
Coach, I want to keep this light, but the pressing question I have is the sideline penalty. Who was it on, and is it his fault, or is it the get back coach?
We were just subbing.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, they bumped the guys that were substituting in. We had 2 linebackers going in the game. We were flopping out personnel, and they bumped in the referee when they were subbing in. That's what it was.
Bobby, specifically the block punt, Levi Janicaro is a guy that moved to the defensive side of the ball. Now it seems like he's standing out on special teams. I know you love when guys like that sort of earn their way. So you just talk about that play.
Well, that's a big play. I saw him score it, and I didn't know who blocked it. And I said, all right, who blocked it? And he said, I did both. So that's a big-time play when you block it and scoop it up and score it. So I don't know if we got I'd have to see the replay. I don't know if we got our hand on one in the first half, but their punter struggled a bit with the pressure, and our guys, they had a pretty good understanding of their protection, and they executed the rush pretty well. And obviously Levi had the big play.
If you had to pick just one thing you're most proud of with how this defense is playing, what would that be?
Oh, I think it's temperament and effort level. I mean, they are after it. When the ball gets kicked off, they're after the guys in the other colored jersey, and I appreciate guys that love to play.
Now we can talk about the showdown, right? Next weekend, Eastern Washington, ESPN2. What do you think?
Is that
Coach?
who we play?
Indeed.
I never look ahead.
On that note, though, I mean,
so that's who we have.
That's
huh?
who you
All
play.
right, got it.
Just on that note, though, I know you want to enjoy this one. So, but how important is that to just, now when it is time to move on to the next one, move on to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the conference schedule. We have 1 game per week, and you get to play that one. They all count the same. So anytime you win, including today, it counts the same as the next week or the next week or the next week. So it's good to be 1-0. We're excited about beating Cal Poly and being at 1-0 in first place in the conference.
Coach over here, just wondering from a defensive.
I couldn't see it.
There's a lot of us. I don't know. Sorry, but just wondering from a defensive perspective. Obviously, you love when guys play with an edge, and there's a lot of stuff kind of after the whistle that goes on, and when guys are kind of getting up off piles. How do you kind of have your team balance the edge and kind of the the attitude you want them to play with without drawing flags and penalties?
Obviously I don't know because I think we got a couple today. So we want to be edgy. Head coach is edgy. Coaching staff's edgy. Players are edgy. That's what we want. We're pretty nice guys after the dust settles, but we don't want to be too nice out there.
Anybody else?
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. Day game.